Good morning and welcome to the February 22nd, 2024 meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality Management District Board of Directors. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Vice Chair Aquino?
Here.
Director Daniels?
Here.
Director Desmond?
Here.
Director Frost? Director Guerra? Director Hume? Chair Kennedy?
Here.
Director Maple? Director Papineau?
Here.
Director Robles?
Present.
Director Serna?
Here.
Director Talamantes?
Here.
Director Terry? Oh, Director Terry's coming in right now. Director Terry?
I'm here.
Thank you. Director Vang? We have quorum.
Thank you. Your timing is impeccable, Director Terry. Would you please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk announcements, please.
Members of the public are encouraged to observe the meeting in real time at metro14live.saccounty.gov, participate in person via Zoom video or teleconference line, and by submitting written comments to boardclerk@airaquality.org. Comments will be delivered to the Board of Directors. Public comments regarding matters under the jurisdiction of the Board of Directors will be acknowledged by the chairperson, distributed to the Board of Directors, and included in the record. This meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality Management District is cablecast live without interruption on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on Comcast Consolidated Communications, and AT&T UVerse cable system. This meeting is being closed captioned and will be live streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting will be repeated on Saturday, February 24th, 2024 at 2 p.m. on Channel 14.
Thank you, and we will note that Vice Chair Aquino and Director Terry are joining us via online and have properly posted their attendance online. First item, please.
The first item on the agenda is the consent calendar, items 1 through 4.
All right, are there any members of the board that have any questions of anything on the consent calendar? Would like to pull anything from consent for discussion? Hearing, seeing none, is there any member of the public that would like to address the board on an item that's on the consent calendar? Hearing and seeing none, is there a motion?
Move the consent.
So move, Terry.
Okay, we have a motion by Director Desmond, a second by Director Terry. We will do a roll call vote.
Vice Chair Aquino?
Aye.
Director Daniels?
Aye.
Director Desmond?
Aye.
Director Frost? Director Guerra? Director Hume? Chair Kennedy?
Aye.
Director Maple? Director Papineau?
Aye.
Director Robles?
Aye.
Director Serna? Director Talamantes?
I'll abstain.
Director Terry?
Aye.
Director Vang? The consent calendar passes.
Thank you. Next item.
The next item on the agenda, the discussion calendar, item number 5, City of Sacramento incentive contract and other opportunities for investments in electrification and the clean energy transition. And I have Rafe Porter in chambers to give a presentation.
Morning, Chair Kennedy, members of the board. Rafe Porter, I'm Program Manager of the Transportation and Climate Change Division at Sacramento Air District. So the item before you today actually has two components. The first is just to provide you an update on our upcoming incentive solicitation. And the second part of the item is going to be an action item to approve the contract with the City of Sacramento. This is a contract that came through our last incentive solicitation. So next slide, please. So every year, the Air District is allocated funds through a couple of different sources. We then, in turn, open up incentives to provide to public agencies, private companies, and community-based organizations to transition to cleaner fuels through their transportation, as well as the infrastructure needed to support those vehicles. So this year we have roughly just over $15 million in incentive funds. Again, these come through some of our traditional programs like Carl Moyer, which is a scrap and replace that we get these funds through the California Air Resources Board. And this is focused on light and medium duty vehicles as well as the infrastructure to support that. So again, it's charging infrastructure, hydrogen fueling infrastructure, and the like. And then we also have some traditional funds that we get locally, and we work through the Sacramento Area Council of Governments, or SACOG. These are local funds that, again, are focused on vehicle transition, but this does not require a scrap component. And so this is receiving funds to purchase new and existing. This is great for fleet expansions and new fleets as well, since it doesn't require that scrap component. The change to CCAT this year, which we're very excited about, is not only is it heavy and medium duty, but we're also including light duty vehicles. So to help you all meet the advanced clean fleet rules that the state has laid down, we brought in light duty vehicles to help achieve that goal as well, and also just broaden it to meet a lot of the fleets that we're seeing in the region that aren't in the medium and the heavy duty side. The focus this year is going to be a little bit different. We are really going to put an emphasis on the infrastructure side this year. So we're really looking at the charging infrastructure and the hydrogen fueling station opportunities through this round. It's a little bit of a build it and they will come approach that we think if we have a robust infrastructure in the ground first, then obviously the vehicles will follow. We will continue to have the off-road component. So this is construction equipment as well as agricultural equipment that will continue to be a part of it, as well as the on-road vehicles. We think with the light-duty vehicles this year, we'll have an emphasis on some microtransit opportunities. We've had a lot of requests for these types of services in the past, so we're going to have an emphasis on that. And all of this should be available within the next, some of it will roll out in 30 days, but the whole thing will be open within the next 60 days. Next slide, please. One component that we're really excited about this year also is the commercial lawn and garden equipment. We have had a lawn and garden equipment pilots in the past. If you remember a couple of years ago, we actually worked with SMUD to roll out a program. We had a small amount of money dedicated to lawn and garden equipment. This year we've got a little bit more dedicated funds. We've got $500,000 specifically to commercial lawn and garden. So this is going to be a voucher type program. So if you are a business, a public entity, a nonprofit that uses commercial lawn and garden equipment, you can work through the manufacturer or the dealer, bring in your old equipment, and receive a voucher towards the purchase of this new equipment. We've got the dollars listed there on the side. You can see that for some of these larger mowers, you can get up to $15,000 to replace those old diesel or gasoline-powered equipment and get new electric equipment. We have done some of this equipment in the past. Just a couple of years ago, we worked with Southgate Parks and Recreation, and they did a full sweep of their commercial lawn and garden equipment, and they've been really happy with the results so far. This program is also opening in the next 30 days, so it's coming out very soon. And we've got a lot of information posted on our website. We will continue to work with your staff at the cities, as well as, again, the private agencies that we work with.
Rafe,
next slide, please.
Can you hold for just one second?
Yes.
Director Talamontes.
Do you plan on making the flyers in Spanish and in English?
We do have them in Spanish as well, so
Okay.
yeah, we'll get those out.
All right, thank you.
Next slide, please. Okay, so that's the update on the incentive solicitation piece. And then the second part, as I mentioned, is actually an action item from the board today to approve a contract with the City of Sacramento from our last incentive solicitation. The City of Sacramento received a grant from the California Energy Commission to conduct their EV blueprint study. So this was just looking at how do they get chargers out there into the community to make sure that there's opportunities for everyone to charge. So working with the Air District, they identified 13 opportunities, and these are all at libraries and community centers to provide charging opportunities to put in electric car share through our community car share program that the Air District oversees, as well as provide bikes for a bike share opportunity. Through that program, the Air District said that we were going to contribute about $700,000 in match to bring in the vehicles to help with the infrastructure to get the whole program up and running. Based on increase in costs, as we've all seen, as well as expanding the program beyond what the original scope was going to be, so including more sites. The City of Sacramento is requesting now a new contract amount not to exceed $3 million. We had enough money in the budget. We had enough of our Carl Moyer and DMV funds to meet this request, and we thought it was worthwhile to bring forward. So next slide, please. So we're bringing an action to this board today to allow the APCO Executive Director to amend the contract and enter into new contracts with the City of Sacramento for this low vehicle incentive program not to exceed $3 million. So that's the request today, and that's the end of my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafe. Director Daniels.
Hi, just on regarding the EV chargers, will there be a cost associated with using the charger? And if so, where will that money go?
Yeah, there is going to be the charges of the libraries, you mean? Yeah. I think they're using a networked charger that will charge the user. And so they will just pay the standard kilowatt rate.
So there won't be any opportunity to recover some of the cost of the chargers themselves in any way, just the actual cost of the energy being produced?
Thank you. Any others? I see no one punched in. Is there any member of the public that would like to address this item? Hearing and seeing none, I will entertain a motion. If there's no discussion.
I'll move to approve item 5.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Director Talamontes and a second from Director Maple. Please, roll call, please.
Vice Chair Aquino?
Aye.
Director Daniels?
Aye.
Director Desmond? Aye. Director Frost? Director Guerra? Director Hume?
Aye.
Chair Kennedy?
Aye.
Director Maple?
Aye.
Director Papineau?
Aye.
Director Robles?
Aye.
Director Cerna? Aye. Director Talamontes? Aye. Director Terry?
Aye.
Director Vang? Absent. This item passes as well.
Thank you. Next item, please. Thank you, Rafe.
The next item on the discussion calendar, item number 6, new national ambient air quality standard for particulate matter, and I have Catherine Chin Chu here in chambers to give a presentation.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Chair Kennedy and members of the board. My name is Catherine Chin Chu, and I'm the statistician with the Monitoring, Planning, and Rules Division. Today, I'll be presenting on the new national ambient air quality standards for particulate matter. Next slide, please. So PM 2.5, or particulate matter smaller than 2.5 microns, has the ability to penetrate deep into the lungs and impact cardiovascular and respiratory health. Earlier this month, EPA officially lowered the annual PM 2.5 standard by 25% from 12.0 to 9.0 micrograms per meter cubed. There are no changes to the daily PM 2.5 standard of 35 micrograms per meter cubed, nor to the secondary standards. Next slide, please. EPA conducted an initial assessment of non-attainment based on 2020 to 2022 data without any considerations to potentially wildfire-impacted days yet. You'll see on this map, based on this initial assessment, the areas in the darker shade of green indicate areas that would be considered as non-attainment. And while you can see it scattered throughout the United States, the majority do lie within the state of California. The Sacramento region will likely be designated as non-attainment. However, the final designation will be based on 2022 to 2024 data, so we will need to see what 2024 looks like before we are able to get that final designation. Next slide, please. So you all have seen this chart in previous board meetings, but we wanted to share it again to reiterate the significant change in a 25% more stringent standard. We're keeping a close eye on the wildfire impacted data to see if there's any regulatory significance, but again, we will need to wait for 2024 data to make that final assessment. Next slide, please. So with the new annual PM 2.5 standard, EPA released additional guidance and changes. So EPA is now requiring that any future new monitoring stations should consider disadvantaged communities in determining locations. EPA also developed exceptional event analysis and visualization tools to help evaluate exceptional events such as wildfires. To the right of this slide, you'll see a couple of these visualization tools that show wildfire impacted PM2.5 data during a time period where we wouldn't expect as elevated concentrations of PM2.5. Next slide, please. The change in the annual PM2.5 standard also triggers a change in the air quality index thresholds or breakpoints. So if you look at this table in front of you, the center two columns compare the previous AQI category breakpoints with the updated AQI category breakpoints. And you'll see for several of those AQI categories, the thresholds have been lowered. For example, if you take a look at the good, instead of 0 to 12, it's now 0 to 9 micrograms per meter cubed. EPA is updating this AQI chart to reflect the new standard and to better communicate public health risks. Next slide, please. So what do next steps look like? The new standard was adopted February 7th, 2024. Between now and 2025, the district will work closely with the state to make an attainment designation recommendation to EPA. Between February 6, 2025 to February 6, 2026, EPA will be taking into consideration this recommendation as well as the available data, and they will be making final non-attainment designations and boundary designations by February 6, 2026. Areas that are considered as non-attainment areas will then have 18 months from this date to submit a state implementation plan to EPA, which falls on October 2027. Next slide, please. This concludes the presentation on the updates. Thank you for your time. Are there any questions?
Any questions from the board? Director Hume.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick one. I'm curious on the map that showed the national non-attainment areas, and obviously the majority were in California. Mm-hmm. Why are there not greater non-attainment areas, in some of the other major, it seemed like there were just pockets right around the major metropolitan areas towards the East Coast. I would think like Detroit, Chicago, even New York would have a greater area than some of the less populated areas in California that seem to be in that state.
Yeah, thank you for your question. So California, there can be a variety of reasons, but for California, the topography of the coastal mountain ranges, the valleys in the inland areas really help to trap those pollutants and prevent dispersion. Meteorology is also a factor in that as well, and then population density and all these cumulative reasons could contribute to why California has more of these non-attainment areas.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I have a couple of questions. One is, so in essence, the bottom line, the consequences are the same for non-attainment. It's just that it's easier to be considered a non-attainment area, correct? Or are they changing the consequences?
I will defer that question to Director of Planning, Mark Lautenheiser.
Or Dr. Ayala.
Or Dr. Ayala.
I will give it a shot. Once you're in non-attainment, you're in non-attainment. Yeah. You have to figure out a plan to meet the standard. Right. So that's basically the bottom line. And that is why this is so significant, because all of a sudden we go from a region that we're getting really close and frankly almost there. It was just a matter of finishing the administrative process. And the new standard, which again we fully support, is meant to protect public health, is going to throw us into non-attainment. So as Ms. Chin said, this is a 3-year process. So we're going to come back to you with ideas in terms of what we need to do, what the region needs to do to put together an air quality management plan that the federal government can achieve. So, but whatever you can do, 2024 is a really key year. Yeah. So we need to be very clean this year so that we stand a better chance of getting close to where we need to be.
So we should all buy electric cars.
No barbecuing, no open burning. None of that stuff.
Now let's not get crazy. Yes, Director Desmond.
And going back to the slide on the exceptional event analysis, so the new standards, do they impact that? Do they impact the evaluation or the impact of wildfires and how they factor into attainment of these new standards?
So the good news is because of wildfires, unfortunately, we've had quite a bit of experience ourselves, the state agency, the federal government, and we are much more cognizant that accounting for those wildfire events is really important. So as you heard in the staff presentation, EPA has given us new tools, better ability to assess what are the things that we have control over and what are the things that we do not, like wildfires. So this is going to be an absolutely critical element in showing whether we can attain or not, because as you saw in the graph, if wildfires are included, it's the wild west, because again, you could have a really clean year and all of a sudden this summer it'll fire it up. So exceptional event evaluation and the analysis is going to be absolutely critical. And again, unfortunately, we've had quite a bit of experience, and EPA is responding with the tools and the assessments, and our staffs are actually going to be tracking some of the new training and the opportunities to play with the tools soon. So.
Thank you. No, that's really helpful. I just want to make sure that these new standards don't somehow tie our hands even further with respect to the exceptional event analysis.
Correct.
So, all right. Thank you.
I guess one question I have too, it's probably for Dr. Ayala, since we've had so many conversations about this. The new requirement that disadvantaged communities are where we locate testing stations, that's not going to change our policy that we currently do anyway, correct?
It is not. And just like you reacted, we reacted the same way, because it was pretty telling that EPA used this standard to address that issue, right? There are very specific requirements in the Clean Air Act for regions and where to place monitoring stations. And we are fully compliant. We have a network that gets reviewed and assessed on a regular basis. What EPA is saying, because this does happen, we've gotten kicked out of places and we need to remove and find a new location for our stations. What EPA is saying is, as a part of that process, if that happens to you for some reason, or God forbid somebody runs into a station and breaks it down or something, if you need to relocate, then the next level of effort needs to consider this concept of disadvantaged communities and whether a new station might provide additional data. As you know, in the region, we're not waiting for that. We have deployed additional technology, portable sensors, not only ourselves, but some of our partners. So from a monitoring standpoint, we have good monitoring and we have data, but this is an interesting requirement which will impact regions in the event that there is a need for whatever reason to take one station down and then deploy a replacement.
Okay, so that was just my shameless way of pointing out that the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality District is already ahead and already doing this, right?
It's not shameless at all. We should be saying that
Okay.
every chance we get.
Director Daniels.
Yeah, just to go back on those things that you mentioned that could impact our levels. And so in the end, the bottom line is the EPA is not going to care whether or not you live in Cheyenne, Wyoming, at the top of a 6,000-foot plateau where the wind blows 45 miles an hour or more, 175 days a year, and that's a true fact, and cleans everything, or you live in a bowl in Sacramento and everything just kind of falls in the bowl. And really, we keep doing more and more and more things, and is it really going to matter? Are we even going to really be able to get to 0.9 in the end? And if we can get there, at what cost then to people, no barbecues or whatever. We can joke about that, but it's probably coming. But in the end, are they even going to care? Are there going to be exceptions, type of things? Well, we know you live in a bowl, so 0.10 is good.
So I appreciate the comment, Dr. Daniels. I feel like I have to give you a reaction. So it is not EPA. It's essentially Congress in the past who enacted the Clean Air Act that basically imposes these requirements. You're absolutely right. Fundamentally, what we are supposed to do is ensure that every person in this country is breathing air that meets the standards, whether you're in Cheyenne or Sacramento or wherever. That's basically what EPA is implementing. The second thing that the Clean Air Act does, you are correct. The standards are supposed to be based purely on the health evidence without consideration for cost. So that's where the hard part comes in, because then regions and agencies like us have to figure out how to meet the standard in a way that is cost effective. But to your point, we certainly don't want to make light of the fact that this is gonna squeeze us. This is gonna be something that we're gonna have to think really hard. The nice thing about it is we're not alone, as you see. A lot of agencies in California, a lot of air districts in California were already talking. The state Air Resources Board is already helping us. Obviously, EPA, give them credit. They're going above and beyond, trying to help us. They understand that this is going to be a heavy lift. But to your point, we have no option. We have to meet the standard. Because the minute a region doesn't meet any of the standards, then we forgo eligibility for transportation money and other things that we certainly don't want to give up on. So again, we don't want to be alarmists here. This is going to be a heavy lift. We've got time. We're not alone. We'll keep you informed. You've heard about this a few times, and I think you should take away the message that this is really, really important for the region. But we'll keep you informed. And again, as you see, we have very talented and capable staff that we're going to do the best we can to bring you a plan that can be approved.
Can I just follow up on that then? Who was responsible for the change from 0.12 to 0.9? Was that Congress or was that the EPA?
That is EPA, and per the Clean Air Act, EPA is mandated to be advised by a Clean Air Scientific Advisory Board. And who gets appointed to the board is essentially experts from across the nation, academia, government, agencies like ours, and they review the health evidence. And the health evidence was pretty clear. The more we learn about the science of air pollution, the more we understand that, humans are not really equipped to handle pollution, and that's why you see the standards getting more and more stringent.
Thank you. Director Cerna.
Thank you. Just to dovetail off that last answer provided by Director Ayala, Catherine, what I didn't see in your presentation was any mention of generally or specifically what health evidence EPA cites, whether it's measured in, instances of cancer, instances of other kinds of respiratory ailment that could be reduced when you go from 12 micrograms per cubic meter to 9. So what can you generally kind of explain what that justification was?
I'll defer this to Dr. Latzenheiser, or Director Latzenheiser.
So I'll give you an initial shot. It's pretty extensive. EPA, in their scientific assessment, they look at chronic and acute effects. They look at mortality and morbidity. They look at inhalation risks for cancer and other non-respiratory. So it's pretty extensive. I mean, they looked at the entire literature that points to any connection between an adverse health effect and any component of air pollution. And again, this is the kind of thing that, as you know, the Air Resources Board is also tracking. So it's a pretty extensive, and again, it goes through the peer review process. It's debated. It's argued over. And again, if you follow some of the debates, the Scientific Advisory Council, they were actually pushing for lowering some of the other standards as well. So there's a lot of back and forth, which again, to me, is emblematic of precisely the way that the scientific process is supposed to play out, right? Is comparing evidence and see if we can get to agreement, if not consensus. So,
is it appropriate to infer that if going from 12 to 9 micrograms is going to have some dramatic health benefit, that going down to 4 or 3 or no, basically nothing is the objective?
So absolutely, the agency has published again evidence in terms of the health benefit, the benefit cost analysis in terms of preventing premature death and other ailments. They've looked at preventing unnecessary loss of work days and the school days for kids. So there's a pretty standard assessment. Now, to your point, why don't we just go, if that's the case, down to 4, 3, 2, or 0? There's something called background as well, right? So once you get to background, and we are getting pretty darn close, once you get to background, you're down to background. There's not much you can do beyond that. So,
Which is non-anthropomorphic particulate.
And there,
right?
and to be fair, there is evidence, some of the evidence that EPA looked at, which basically says that it should be 0. It shouldn't be anything other than just purely clean air. Now, it goes back to Director Daniels' point. How do we get there? So this is a balancing act for sure. This is EPA, our federal government, trying to do the best they can, interpreting the latest scientific evidence on what we need to do about air pollution and how to make it something that is manageable and practical, right? There's no sense in giving a standard that right off the bat they know we're not going to be able to meet. We can meet 9. We just got to put on our thinking hats and get your support.
Okay. Any others? Is there any members of the public like to address the board on this issue? Hearing none, this is a receive and file. Thank you very much. Great report. Next item, please.
The next item on the discussion calendar, item number 7, temporary appointment of a CalPERS retiree as interim director of administrative services. And I have Denise Booth in chambers to give a presentation.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chair Kennedy and directors. My name is Denise Booth. I'm the Human Resources Officer for the district, and I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to chat with you about hiring a retired annuitant within the 180-day period after retirement. So next slide. So just to give you a little bit of background, Jamil Moons is our current Director of Administrative Services, and she is retiring. Unfortunately, despite our attempts to keep her, tomorrow is her last day. So we have had a recruitment in progress since October to try to fill her position, and we are still working on that. You all may know that CalPERS has a rule that says retirees cannot return in a retired annuitant position until 180 days has passed since their retirement. They do allow a couple of exceptions, and one of those is for key positions that are still vacant. Next slide, please. So the Director of Administrative Services oversees several key operations for the district, including communications, finance, general administration, human resources, and information services. So in addition to oversight of the daily operations for those areas, there are numerous projects underway and some key initiatives. There's the area project, which is the permitting and billing system. There's an ongoing class and compensation study, and then there's also the sale and the relocation of the district office. Next slide. So to allow the exception to that 180-day rule, CalPERS requires a resolution by the board. So you would be confirming that this appointment is necessary, that it's critical to fill this vacancy, and that we will follow the rules that CalPERS requires us to follow for retired annuitant positions, including allowing her to work no more than 960 hours in the fiscal year, and that the appointment can last up to 6 months or the time in which the replacement begins work for us, so whichever is earlier. So if you approve this, CalPERS would review the paperwork, and if they deem the employment compliant, they would allow her to start. So if I may, I'd like to take a minute to thank Jamil for her almost 10 years of service for the district. She is a phenomenal leader for our division. She has more than 25 years of public service, and I'd like to thank you. If you do approve this resolution, for us to keep her a little bit longer would be wonderful. So thank you, and I open it up for questions.
Yes, we have a couple to chime in. I want to congratulate Jamil on the world's shortest retirement.
So moved.
Director Maple.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just hoping that maybe my colleagues will join me in a round of applause to congratulate you on your retirement.
That's right.
Thank you for your years of service.
Director Hume.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just curious as to where we are in the current recruitment process. Have we identified candidates? Are we getting near scheduling? What kind of commitment is she looking at? Because I agree, not even having a full day of being on retirement kind of sucks. I mean, get out, but please come back.
Yeah, please come back.
Give her the afternoon off.
Well, we have hired an executive recruiter who we've been working with, and we have been actively interviewing as qualified candidates come through. So we are still in the process. We do have something in the works. So we are interviewing as.
So no threat of it going beyond the 6 months or so before she times out?
I
on
certainly
the
hope. I
annuitant
certainly
status.
hope not.
Okay.
Yes. So no, we should have someone on board. So.
All right, thank you. No others. Is there any member of the public that would like to address the board at this time? Seeing none, board will move. The chair will move for approval. Second by Director Hume. Roll call vote, please.
Vice Chair Keno,
Aye.
Director Daniels,
Aye.
Director Desmond, Director Frost, Director Guerra, Director Hume, Chair Kennedy,
Aye.
and Director Maple, Director Papineau,
Aye.
Director Robles,
Aye.
Director Cerna,
Aye.
Director Talamantes, Director Terry,
Aye.
Director Vang. The item number 7 passes.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, please.
The next item on the agenda, discussion item number 8, appointment of board members to the Budget and Personnel Committee of the board. And I have Albert Ayala to start that item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a simple item. I want to welcome Director Robles to our board, but his coming to our board is a result of Mayor Singh Allen stepping down. She was a member of our Budget and Personnel Committee, and we need to reappoint a replacement. So back to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. At this time, I think for ease and for sake of hazing, I would like to nominate Director Robles.
Second.
Is there any other nominations at this time? All right, hearing none, please call the roll.
Vice Chair Keno,
Aye.
Director Daniels,
Aye.
Director Desmond, Director Frost, Director Guerra, Director Hume, Director Chair Kennedy,
All right,
Director Maple, Director Papineau,
Aye.
Director Robles,
Aye.
Director Cerna,
Aye.
Director Talamantes, Director Terry,
Aye.
Director Vang. This item passes as well.
thank you. And Director Robles, I forgot to mention that the committee meets 4 times a week. Next item, please.
The next item on the agenda, item number 9, hearing board vacancy notifications, and I have Kathy Pittard here to give a presentation.
It's not really a presentation. We just wanted to bring to the board's attention that we do have 2 vacancies on the hearing board. For the newer members, the hearing board hears petitions for relief from businesses and other entities that are, for various reasons, unable to meet a rule or a permit requirement for a temporary period of time. And the variance relief allows them to continue to operate while not incurring penalties. Then they also hear orders for abatement if we're having issues with different sources that, for whatever reason, are not coming into compliance with the our regulations or their permits, to order them to do so. So we have a 5-member board. There's 2 public members, a attorney member, a medical member, and a engineering member. And it's the medical and engineering members' positions that are vacant now and we're recruiting for. We've already had 1 recruitment for the medical position, and we're unable to fill that slot. So we're hoping that you can reach out a little bit in your individual communities. And I would like to emphasize, it doesn't have to be a doctor. It just has to be somebody in the medical community that works with in public health issues, toxins, that kind of thing. It could be a nurse. It could be just another professional that works in that field, rather than a doctor. So if you could give us some assistance in that, we would greatly appreciate it. We have had 1 application filed for the engineering position, so that's not quite as urgent.
And in seriousness this time, just as we're recruiting, how often does this board, what's the time commitment that would be requested?
It's going to vary depending on who needs relief and when, but they really just meet a few times a year, probably 2 to 3 times a year, unless it's a very controversial issue, which comes up a handful of times. The meetings are generally short, 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay, thank you. Director Cerna?
Thank you. Have you thought about maybe reaching out to our public health department to see if, maybe talking with Dr. Kassir to see if perhaps someone in her department might have an interest?
We have, and that's in the works. We've also reached out to Sac State and to UC Davis to see if any of the individuals on their staffs or even their students potentially would be interested.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any questions? No? Are there any member of the public? Seeing none, this is a receive and file. Thank you. Next item.
The next item, the Air Pollution Control Officer Report, and I have Dr. Alberto Ayala here to give a presentation.
Thank you. Hello again. So this is the last item. Thank you again. We are moving very efficiently through the agenda. Good to see you all in person. 2024 is definitely going to be a year of change for us. We just talked about retirements and the new standards and the new programs. Next slide, please. The next big thing, obviously, as you have heard, is we are relocating. We are vacating our building and looking for a new home that better reflects our needs in terms of continuing to telework. As you may remember, our building, we were actually landlords. Our tenant is vacating. Well Space, they got their own nice new headquarters, and as we discussed, we don't want to be in the business of renting to someone. We're fortunate we hire a very capable firm, and to my surprise, as you heard last month, we already have a very viable offer on the building. So we are going to proceed with that process. We have countered twice already. We are hopeful that this is going to work out for us. I think it's going to be a very nice thing. And then as soon as that process is completed, then we'll continue to work with the firm and have them help us find our new location. So again, we just wanted to keep you informed that the process is proceeding very favorably, to my surprise, to some extent. And we'll continue to keep you and the Budget and Personnel Committee informed as we proceed. Next slide. As you may know, right now we're in the middle of planning for Cap to Cap, and I just wanted to share with you so that you're aware. We at the Air District have a leadership role for the air quality team, as you would expect. We are co-leading with friends from SMOD and Valley Vision, and we have two issue papers that we're going to be carrying. One of them is on investments to reduce climate air pollution, aka our climate pollution reduction grant application. That is a 7-county effort that you have heard us talk about. Next board meeting, we're going to dedicate the entire meeting to give you an update on where that work with the 7 counties is going. It's a fantastic opportunity, and I'm very pleased that we were designated as the lead for this 7-county area. And the second approach is similar. It's actually led by our friends at SACOG, but it's got an important air quality component. This idea of getting the region ready to be resilient in the face of the change that is already coming in our climate. So those are some of the issues that we're going to be carrying for Cap to Cap for those of you that are going to be involved in that. I want to thank personally Vice Chair Aquino for signing on to the team and getting involved. She's definitely taking up the role of Vice Chair and getting prepared to take over the board soon, and we welcome her participation as well as some of the other members in the team as you see here. Next slide. This is just an FYI. Part of what we need to do because of our emphasis on community air protection, environmental justice, and just be better stewards of our not only our resources but also the mission of the agency is, we want to be in the community much more prominently. And one of the things that we do, we're often asked to participate in community events. And the last one that I had a chance to go out and check out, it was very nice. It was the Lunar Year, the New Year celebration down in Elk Grove. We had a table there to talk about some of the things that we do, our programs. Very well attended. Families had a lot of interest in terms of electric vehicles, electric bicycles, and some of the things that we're doing. It's a great way to connect to the community. So I just wanted to share that with you. Anything that you have in the works, I know that as the weather gets nicer, we're all going to want to be outside doing this kind of thing. If you see a connection to air quality and some of the climate actions that we have, particularly when it comes to some of the funding opportunities that we have, let us know, because we want to be out there and wave the clean air flag. Next slide, please. I think the last thing I have is, just as an FYI, again, our congressional delegation is fantastic. They support us all the way. And in this particular instance, Dr. Berra approached us. He's invited the regional EPA administrator to come to Sacramento and have a conversation about some of the things that we've been discussing here. And they approached us to help with building an agenda, organizing that sort of roundtable as they plan it, and we're very happy to do that. And on the agenda, we suggested, and Dr. Berra sort of liked the idea that we should be talking to the EPA regional administrator about three things. Again, our climate pollution reduction grant investment, CPRG, a great opportunity for the region. We should be talking about hydrogen, as you heard in the staff presentation. That is one of our priorities in terms of moving transportation to zero emissions. And then, of course, all the activities that we have on environmental justice. So stay tuned. I've included our chair and vice chair on the list of invitees. The idea is to have a roundtable with Ms. Guzman, the administrator, and a small group of regional leaders to talk about our priorities. And we'll keep you posted. And related to our congressional delegation, I want to put on your radar next March. Next board meeting in March, we've invited Congresswoman Matsui to come and join us. She also is a strong supporter. We meet with her on a regular basis, and she's agreed to come and give you greetings and just chat a little bit about the intersection of some of the things that we do and her interest. We want to give you a private space, so what we're thinking is we'll set up a coffee and pastries at 8:30 prior to our board meeting. So for those of you that want to come down earlier, please put that on your calendar. We'll have the clerk work with your offices and send you a reminder. Very informal. She just wants to have a chance to say hello to all of you, and obviously we welcome that and her engagement on some of the things that we're interested in. And that concludes the APCO report. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ayala. Any questions? I'll say, Vice Chair Aquino, are you raising your hand or no? No? Okay.
No, sorry.
That's all right. Thank you. Great report. I really appreciate upping the game in community outreach and also the outreach to our congressional delegation. Thank you very much. That takes us to board ideas, comments, and AB 1234 reports. Is there anything from the board? Nope. Is there any public comment on an item that is not on the agenda? Hearing and seeing none, thank you all for being here today. We're adjourned.